Hey everyone, this is Alex here from Computer Headquarters, and today I'm going to be making a reaction video to a video that was just posted by RedGamingTech, Paul over there. I really like his channel. I listen to probably almost all of his videos. As funny as it sounds, a lot of times when I'm getting like ready for work, taking a shower or brushing my teeth and all that stuff in the morning, I'll be listening to his stuff. Sometimes when I'm driving the car, sometimes when I'm walking my dog. I really like to listen to a lot of the speculation and rumor videos that he creates. A lot of the stuff ends up being accurate, and usually as we get closer to launches of products, the rumors and speculation stuff that he puts out gets more and more accurate. I like to listen to a lot of other people like Moore's Law is Dead and Adore TV and people like that too, to name a few, but Paul puts out probably some of the most content as far as quantity of videos, and I think the quality is good as well, and just fun for me because I'm into this stuff, right? So I'm gonna be playing the video here, and hopefully you can hear it pretty well. And I'm talking over him right now, but he's talking about how he burst his water main and dealing with some junk at his house.
Let's focus on a very intriguing set of tweets. Now, first, a couple are from Kopity7 Kimmy. The RTX 4080 has seen a cut from 420 watts down to just 320. So obviously
that is
that's
insane.
Around 100 watts reduced.
Okay, I'm gonna pause. So 480 from 420 watt to 320 watt. Now, keep in mind, all of the leaks and rumors that have been coming out in the past were all pointing to the fact that 4080 and 4080 Ti were going to be insanely power hungry. And I think, what was it? So the 4080 Ti, hopefully I'm quoting everything correctly, but I think the rumor was that certain AIB cards, like that, say a Kingpin card from EVGA, could go all the way up to 800 watts. So saying that the 4080 is going to be going down to 320 watts, it really seems odd to me. And that's going to be where, after we're done listening to this, I'm going to start giving my opinions on it about that.
That's quite a lot. Now, I say around because ultimately we don't know what's going to happen in terms of overclocking, power limits, and what custom AIB model cards are capable of. So obviously, you know, a likes of an MSI, you know, high-end GPU may have different power limits. We're not too certain about that so far. The RTX 4070 though has a more subtle cut. It went from just 300 watts down to 285. Now, of course,
so that's not a big change.
These cards are not launched properly at the moment. In fact, they're not launched at all. There are test boards which have been now provided to certain AIBs, but they're very locked down. So basically, something like 3D Mark may run. However, the vast majority of games and software will not. And obviously, one of the reasons for this is so that, well, stuff just doesn't get leaked, or at least the leaks are a lot less meaningful. Now, for reference, we knew previously
we're not going to listen to this whole
RTX
video just so you guys know.
Scoring somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 points. And the 4070 is around 11,000 points. To be clear, by the way, this is in TimeSpy Extreme. There have been a lot of figures for the 4090, which is, by the way, 450 watts. The lower scores seem to be somewhere in the neighborhood of around 19 to 20,000, but I have heard of some tests which are actually getting much higher, somewhere in the neighborhood of 23, 24,000. Again, this is all going to depend on power configuration and a lot of other stuff. So the question naturally becomes, have the specifications for, let's say, the 4080 changed at all?
Have they
and the
changed?
answer is, I have no idea at this point.
I think
one person told me that there were cuts in the specifications, but A, they couldn't provide me what they were, and B, it's only a single person, and I'm not 100% convinced that it's the case. It's very possible that these are just test boards, but what makes it quite difficult is that Kopity7 Kimmy has basically said the problem was power consumption. So maybe Nvidia decided to reduce the cost of the boards, and this doesn't necessarily mean, though, that performance is going to be snipped that much. It's very difficult to know. I'll be keeping an eye on this because I'm very interested. Another possibility is that Nvidia were like, you know what, cranking the power up to, let's say, 420 watts is not really doing that much for us in terms of performance. This is speculative. I do not know this for certain. I do not have a test board, but maybe, and you guys know this yourselves, just because you increase the power, it doesn't mean that performance increases linearly. Jesus,
True.
I can't say that word. So, for example, if you increase power consumption at lower end, at like
Okay, I'm gonna
10%,
cut the video.
20%.
I like how he was stumbling on words a little bit because I stumble on words all the time. All right, so here's where I'm gonna start putting my spin on this, and I'm gonna end up being, there's a good chance I'm completely wrong, I'm in outer space, right? But he talked about maybe they started using lower quality components or cheaper components. He said that maybe they just don't need that much power. Maybe the returns in performance they're getting are just not that great for using the extra power. That's things that make sense too. But there's also some other things that you could make assumptions about or speculate on. So maybe they somehow got a hold of AMD's latest cards and they feel like 100% confident that these are the cards that are the RDNA 3. These are the cards that we're going to be competing with, and they're not as good as we thought they were going to be. So we're going to sandbag a little bit and not go as hard as we could, right? So that's one thing. But the bigger guess or speculation, prophesizing, whatever you want to call it, the guesses that I am leaning toward, if this really happens with the lower power, is that they are sandbagging. They're probably going to be deploying the worst dies, cutting down the die itself. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the idea of like you've got your die that has your GPU on it or CPU or whatever it was, and there are sections of it that could be bad when they go through testing. Like, okay, this whole area, this quadrant, whatever it was, it doesn't work, or it works but it can't boost as high, the performance isn't as good, whatever. So I think they're probably going to be handpicking the worst chips to launch with, which might mean that they are not able to reach, like, say, the frequencies that they could reach if they were using the good stuff. And then by doing that, they're going to be keeping all the best chips that could be turning into TIs or supers for mid-series launch. So that, now the reason why I'm saying a lot of this too is because Nvidia, sorry, there's like a fire truck going by outside. My window's open and I can still hear it. Hopefully you guys can't hear the fire truck. It's really loud. So anyway, they're going through a lot of money problems from what everyone's saying, and or supply, overstock inventory type issues, right? So they have too many 30 series cards. People are not buying. The prices are dropping. 3090 Ti's, I think I saw there was a deal from EVGA for FTW3 for like $1,100. I have, my camera's not pointed over there, is it? I have a 3090 Ti right there. It's an EVGA FTW3. I think I paid $2,200 on launch day. Like they're literally like half the price now. Could I call American Express and say, hey, I want price protection or something like that? Yeah, I probably could. Maybe I will. I don't know. But the point is that the prices are so much lower than they were. And it seems like they're also making room for this new product to come out. But if they know they're going to be selling 30 series for a while and it's going to be competing with 4000 series at the same time, then what they want to do is bring 30 series prices down so they look really attractive. And then when they launch 40 series, they don't want it to be too overpowered, but they want it to be expensive and not too overpowered at the same time. So it doesn't look like this huge 2x performance, whatever you want to call it, which theoretically they could have done if the prices would have stayed high. They could have launched full fat SKUs and then worked on perfecting that to come out with like a TI or a super. So I really think that they're going to already have supers or TIs, whatever they end up calling it, basically ready to go. And what's going to really determine when those TIs and supers come out is going to be what AMD does and AMD's pricing and AMD's performance. Because if AMD's stuff isn't as good as everyone's saying it is, then they might rule the market with their cut down video cards. And then when they are ready to launch TIs, maybe the TIs are going to be so good, they're going to have a very big price increase on those, possibly. And that's, just to be clear, that is the name of the game for Nvidia. They want huge prices. They want inventory flying off the shelf and prices high, supply and demand, right? They want supply to be low, supply available. They want to be pumping out huge supply, but they want the shelves to be empty. And then they want people paying top dollar. That's the best interest for Nvidia and its shareholders, Doesn't mean that's what we want as the consumer, but that's the nature of business, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. But my exact prediction is if these huge reduction in power, if that's what's happening, it's because they're going to be using the lowest quality silicon, and they're going to be just stockpiling the best silicon for TIs that are going to be launching mid refresh or whatever. And if AMD stuff comes out super strong, we'll probably see the TIs come out really soon, really fast. So we'll see if my guesses here end up being right, or if I'm just like totally an idiot and no one ever listens to my guesses ever again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, Mike.